This video is on nonlinear graphs, and I'm just going to look through a couple of different examples and hopefully help you out where I can do. First question has a bit of a mix, so it does have linear graphs in it. The reason why I did this is because this is a typical question that you can see like towards the ends of your paper coming up, and people freak out and they go, I don't know which graph's which. Well, first let's eliminate the straight line graphs, okay? So straight line graphs follow the formula y equals mx plus c. The m is the gradient, so if it's positive, it's going this way, and if it's negative, it's going that way. And then your c is the bit where it cuts through the y-intercept. So if I show you on these graphs, the y-intercept here and here could possibly be the same. And looking at the graph that we're actually given, they are the same. So the thing we're focusing on here is the gradient. Now, the gradient is in front of the x value, so it's like the coefficient of the x. So I've got a coefficient of 2, or I've got a coefficient of -2. So we're including that number in front of it. So if we look at the graph A, that's going up, okay? So we can tell you that's going to be a positive gradient. So straight away, I can say that graph A is going to be this one by here. The next one, we've got graph D, that's going downwards, so it's giving us a negative gradient, and that goes by there. Now we've got graph B and graph C left. If we had graph B as just x squared, because this is the x squared type of graph, it would have started at 0. Now the difference between x squared and x squared -7 is that our y-intercept is down by here. So all that's telling us is that the coordinate is 2 - 7. So just be aware of that. So that, in fact, is our letter B. Now we've got 1 left, and this is the y is over 1 over x. Now this graph is quite special because it never actually reaches the axes, and it never crosses them, because 1 over 0 is unidentified. So that's what you just need to know for that one, and that is C. On the next part, we've got to find out what the coordinates are A and B. So if you want to have a go, pause it quickly, and if you're ready, go straight ahead. So we've got the values for A and B. This is when y is equal to 0. And the reason why it is because you can see on our y line, on our axes, it'll go up. And at this point along here, y is 0. So that's why it's the case. So we can say 0 equals x squared plus 4x minus 12. Now, some of you might have realized straight away now, I need to factorize. So we're just going to factorize these. If you're not sure what the factors are, -12, so we've got 6 and 2, 4 and 3, and 1 and 12. And to make +4, I'm going to have a +2 and a -6. Sorry, a +6 and a -2, sorry, there. That's going to give me x is equal to, I've written that out wrong. So x is equal to -6 or +2. Once you're at that point, you've already got the y value, so you don't need to now stick this in, because at these 2 points, y is going to be equal to 0. So your coordinates are going to be -6, 0. And we're also going to have the coordinates 2, 0. It is a bit of guess at this point, but it's really obvious guess, because if you think about it, A is on this side of our axes, so we know it's going to be a negative, so that has to be A, and B is going to be positive, hence B by there. Hopefully that one's helped. Okay, we've got 2 more questions. This is the next one, and this is quite a common one. So when you've got a question like this, it's best to basically produce all your values and write them down as you go in. So all I do is I put my brackets around the number I'm substituting in. This is to avoid any errors being made, because especially if I saw -4, -1, I might take them away and I might have made an error straight away. So I just write down a quick overview of what I've got to work out. Give yourself some time here, because it's better to write these out and actually check what you're doing than just rushing through the paper and you've made a mistake because you've worked out something wrong, or you haven't subbed it in like you wanted to because you were scared that you were going to run out of time. Actually spending some time on this part, guaranteeing yourself those marks. I'm just going to change my colour. So I've got 1 -4 times -1 is going to give us +4 plus 2. That gives us a nice 7. Write that in straight away. 1 -4 times 1 gives me -4 plus 2. That gives me -1. 4 squared is 16. -16 plus 2. That gives me 2. And the last one, 25 minus 20 plus 2 gives me 5, and 2 is 7. And write the last two ones in. This is the bit I hate now, so I'm going to try and plot it on this graph, and it's not exactly the nicest, is it? So start at -1, okay, and you're going up to 7. So I'm just going to count as I go through. So 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So round about there. You can be a square out. Obviously, for me, it's quite hard seeing it on this graph, but it might be easier on your exam time. And 2 there, -1 and 1. Plot that down. 2 is -2. Yeah, well, these ones are quite nice. And so on. 4 is 2, so back up here. And of course, to finish off, an absolute nightmare one to read. If that's 6, it's 5 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. I think I've plotted them on the right parts. Okay, so now what we need to do is draw our graph. If we don't draw our graph, we don't get the mark, okay? So we need to get all these marks. Now, it says a smooth curve in the exam mark scheme, so I'm just trying my best because I'm on the computer, but yours is a lot easier to draw. So yours should look a little bit nicer. But that is the best I'm going to do because it looks like I've just drawn spaghetti on the screen. But we'll do it. Okay, so you should have something like that, but it should be a smooth curve. Not like mine. And you need to go through every point. It's really important you've also plotted every point. Don't get lazy and just pull up the ones you worked out. You need to put them all because that'll help you draw your curve. Next one. Very similar. This time we've got a cube. Okay, it's nothing different. It's just, this might be something that's on your paper. It looks a little bit scarier, but it's really not. Same technique. -2 cubed, -3. This is why I like writing in my squares and stuff like this now. 0 is going to be quite nice. See, not all bad. And then the same for 1. That's not going to be a bad one to do either. So even though they might be looking for a lot, see, there we go, made a slight mistake there. It's easier once you've written these out, because then you're just focusing on what you need to work out instead of thinking, have I done every single question? Have I worded it? A lot of people just pass over this then because they're like, oh, I can't be bothered. But it is easy marks. Whee. Okay, so I've written them out. I'm just going to change my colour just so we can see what I've done. So we've got -2 times, it's power of 3. So that's like -2 times -2 times -2. So that's going to give you -8. Here, do inside the brackets first. Remember your like BODMAS or BIDMAS. So -2 times -2 gives us normal 4. 4 times -3 is -12, and then +12. So my answer there should be -8. 0, 0, plus 12. So this is just going to give me 12. That was lovely. 1 -3 plus 12. So 13, 10 we should have had as an answer for that one. 8. And then we've got 4 minus 12 plus 12. So that's going to give me just 8. And then last one, we've got 27, because 3 cubed is 27. And then that's 9 minus 27, and then plus 12. There you go. Which just gives us 12. So we've got 8 and 12. So even though they were like quite weird numbers as you're going through, they actually kind of gave us a similar pattern. I'm going to write my answers up there. That was just 0 minus 0 plus 12 equals 12. So now we go to plotting them. So we're at -2. We're going to make our way all the way up to 8. So just be careful, because if you can see, this is 2 squares for every 1 extra. So that's where people are going to make mistakes. So that's 9, another 2 down, so that's my 8. Just a little bit trickier to see. Oh, and even better, making sure that it's on the right path. That was -8 I was meant to go for, and I went for positive. So again, same thing, and just plotted it by there. Next one, at -1, we hit 8. Very odd graph, isn't it? So we go down right by there. And then at 0, we hit 12. So remember, every 2 squares. 1, we hit 10. 2, we hit 8, again challenging us. And 3, we hit 12. And don't be scared that this graph's going up, because it is the x-cubed graph, and that's what happens with the x-cubed graph. It has a nice weird S pattern to it, but like a stretched out one. I'm going to go very bright colour again, see if you can see it. You've got your curve happening by here. And straight up. And then it catches on down like so. So hopefully you can see my bit of spaghetti going up. So that is the graph all drawn out and nice and clear for you. So I hope that helps there, and it just clears things up and makes it a little bit easier for you to view.